Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. We are back with more minor league esports brought to you by APM Music. My name is once again An Oddfellow. This time I am being joined in the booth by the one and only Trackmania Master Leechy. How you doing tonight, brother?
That threw me for a loop. We're bringing other games into it? Okay. Oddfellow is kind of okay at Peggle, I guess. Hi.
Never played Peggle in my life.
You're missing out, my friend. Super excited to be here. We have a CL2 matchup. Oddfellow, it's the Pandas and the Demo. You and I were looking at numbers before we went live, looking a little bit top-heavy for one of these.
Oh, yeah, 100%. So as we were looking at this, the Demo are 7-8 on the season. The Pandas are 11-4. So the Pandas definitely having a little bit of an on-paper advantage. The other interesting statistic that we were bringing up here is that versus winning teams, as in teams with a winning record, the Demo are 2-8, whereas the Pandas are 9-1 versus teams with a losing record. So everything on paper is leaning towards the way of the Pandas. However, the Demo have Zedwolf, who is 5-0 himself on the season so far.
At the same time, on the other side of the fence, the Pandas have Kaint Even, who is also 5-0 on the season. So I will say, like, the team stats definitely point to a relatively heavy Pandas victory, but the individual player stats, I'm happy to say, actually lean towards things being a little bit closer. Salary as well. Hobo Hoppy and Zedwolf on the side of the Demo, both 14.5 salary. Walking this one in is Hobo Hoppy. As we mentioned his name, we'll talk about numbers in a second.
Yeah, absolutely. This is a fantastic carry here from Hobo. Peachy just a little bit slow getting off the wall there, not quite able to catch up to that. So fantastic opening goal there from Hobo, giving the 1-0 lead to the Demo.
So back on salary chat, Kaint Even is a 15, so definitely scary when, considering the context of CL being, I believe the top salary in CL is 15, so Kaint Even is right up against that ceiling. But Peachy is down at a 13.5. Maybe that's a little bit of a bargain pickup for the Pandas, but I feel like if the Demo are going to have hopes of success today, it's going to be trying to exploit the weakness that may or may not exist in PG. Who knows? Tonight may be a pop-up performance. We have yet to see Kaint Even walking this one in. Wow, we have a match on our hands.
It's just air dribble after air dribble. This is fantastic ground control from Even, and then to be able to carry it up over the top of Hobo as well. Just a fantastic answer to that opening goal. But as you're sitting there talking about, potentially a test for Peachy, we do have to take into account that Peachy is also 4-1 on the season themselves. So they have seen a lot of success so far this season in twos as well, as that's going to be a nice save over the top there. Now Zedwolf trying to collect this one up in the corner. Peachy trying to throw it out here. And the Demo player is kind of scattering in the middle there, giving Peachy a little bit of room.
Knockout to the right side. Peachy, my username brethren, just a single letter off. Peachy Leechy connection. We've never played on a team, but there's always time. Maybe Peachy gets picked up, heads to the Sabres, and ranks up the ML all in a single season. That'd be a hell of a development, but hey, there's always a chance.
Yeah, very interesting turn of events that could be, as we're just kind of seeing this general ping-ponging across the field that we usually see. Honestly, I feel like a lot of this, I say this for a lot of games, but I feel like in CL in particular, it's a big deal is that midfield control. Like which team is going to be able to keep the ball on whose side of the pitch more often is a really complicated way of going about it. But just whichever team's able to control the midfield, I think is going to end up being the one that sees success here, despite what the stats are saying on paper.
It can be a very different dynamic in twos as well, because in the game of threes, all you ever hear anyone talking about is midfield control. But twos, it's definitely important, but there's an added element of a necessity to kind of be a little bit more cautious with your challenges, because you do not, that was very close from Hobo. You do not have that third person sitting back to allow the first and second player to just kind of throw themselves willy-nilly at challenges. You need to be a little bit more calculated, just like Zedwolf is with that shot. Made the defender miss, but cleans it up on the second time.
And this was fantastic patience from Zedwolf to be able to react to where that was going off the backboard. What I liked about that was the distance at which Hoppy was behind him. Like, he was a little bit close in terms of overall offense, but for that situation, Hobo was in a great spot right behind him. So if he managed to put it off the crossbar or just ended up somehow missing it, Hobo would have been right there to answer it anyways. But speaking of answers, Kate even trying to answer back immediately, but Hobo getting a nice save out of the air off the goalpost. So the defense for the Demo looking good so far. As I'm talking about that, Peachy, what are you doing?
The lowest Sal on the field. This is CL, right? I didn't get punked. Yeah. It's Ashton Kutcher hiding behind me and waiting to scream at me that this is a PL matchup. What was that? Deuce is wild on the scoreboard. 2:25 left on the game clock. This really could go either way. And Oddfell, I'm super happy about that. The worst things to cast, you may know about this, are one-sided matchups. And I feel like these are pretty good early signs between these two teams.
Yeah, I'd say I've got just a little bit of experience talking about one-sided matchup, just a smidge. But like you were saying, Peachy being the lowest Sal on the pitch and coming out with one of the flashiest goals that we've seen tonight. That's a fantastic job. But Hobo absolutely lasers that one in. 2 minutes left, and that's another 1-goal lead for the Demo.
Ain't even the challenge was left a little bit to be desired. Needed to side flip to his left a little bit sooner, and I feel like that would have been a relatively simple save. But hey, Demo Strikers proving why they are worth talking about here. Pandas yet again find themselves down, but just about 2 minutes left in this game yet again. Yeah, I feel like a broken record at this point, but anything can happen, especially in the game of twos. You usually tend to see slightly higher scoring affairs compared to threes.
Yeah, and especially in CL too, because like these guys are kind of starting to now figure out like more how to play the game at the proper pace. And kind of in regards to that save that Kate wasn't quite able to make on that last play, as Hobo almost gets that one. And I feel like CL more than any others is where hindsight truly is 2020. It's like you may not see it happen right away, but once you go back, like you see exactly, oh, that's what I did wrong. And you will rarely see the same mistake made twice, at least in the same situation. It may be a similar mistake in a different situation, but that's one thing that I really love about CL is that these players learn on the fly kind of a lot better than their AL and FL counterparts, but obviously not quite as good as the higher leagues.
Minor League Esports, all about improving, ladies and gentlemen. Twitch.tv/MLE is what you're looking at right now. But hey, ever want to give this a try yourself? MLEsports.gg/apply, or just type in !apply in chat. You will get that join link, fill out an application, and this is one of the best places to be if you are into some fantastically organized Rocket League and a banger of a community, 2,000 members strong and counting. So, okay, not the fourth goal for the Demo, but definitely asking for it. The Pandas now. Peachy ball on the face of his car, but couldn't make anything dangerous happen. Kane even sends it to the left. Zedwolf kind of calmly taken into the corner, but gets bumped away from it. It's a bit of an advantage for the Pandas, but as I say that, Hobo Hoppy knocking it relatively safely out to that left side. Kane even a shot on target, but Zedwolf sends it booming down to the other side. Believe we are staring down the barrel of a Demolition win, and we are indeed. Now that that ball touches the ground, Demolition take game one, not in a confident fashion, but in a fashion that I will say I definitely wasn't expecting, especially given the shot count. Look at that, only 5 for the Demo and 8 for the Pandas, but Demo wound up taking the win.
Yeah, and a lot of that really kind of comes down to, the defense for the Demo was very strong, but it did seem like the shots that the Pandas were taking that weren't being saved by the Demo were just like a little bit off, either to the left or the right or high or low. So they just kind of need to dial in that shot accuracy a little bit, and I think the Pandas will be a lot better off throughout the rest of the series. But, you know, the Demolition, they got to keep doing what they're doing, but I think if they can be a little bit faster on some of those offensive rotations. We were talking earlier about how the difference between twos and threes is you don't have that third man back. That kind of leads to some offensive pushes in twos, leaving a lot of wide open nets, or like leaving a lot of shots that could have been scored because that second man doesn't want to take the risk. And sometimes you have to weigh, is the risk worth the reward? And so like, I'd like to see the Demo be a little bit more aggressive on their offense, just because of the fact their defense has been so good. And I feel like they can get back and counter attack if needed.
That risk calculation as well is, I feel like, a huge aspect of why you don't see actually, hang on, I'll pull myself back a little bit, because what I was about to say is you don't see as many passing plays in twos as you do in threes, but I think that only becomes true at the higher levels like ML and PL, but CL, there's definitely still room for passing plays, but it's inherently a riskier tactic because in a passing play, you necessarily have two participants, the passer and the recipient. In threes, that's fine, because if the pass goes wayward, you've got that third player back covering. Twos, it ain't got that coverage. You need to make sure that your pass is absolutely perfect, and especially, you know, in ML and PL, it's not that the passes aren't good enough, but it's that the defenders are good enough to see them coming so they know exactly how to cut them out and then beat you on the counterattack. So inherently, ML and PL2s is a much more mechanical game, but there's still room. Oh no, there's room for passes. There's not much room for misses like that in Champion League. That is unfortunate for the demo.
Oh my, Zed needs to just kind of throw that one away. That one did. Don't worry, Zed. Nobody saw it. It's not like it was live on stream or anything. Nobody saw anything happen there. You're good. So
well,
that is
do him dirty like that. Come on.
That is going to be a 1-0 lead for the Pandas there. But after what we saw last game from the demo, I don't think that there's any worry for them just yet here at the start of this game. But I think kind of to your point about like not seeing passing plays at the higher levels. I think another thing when it comes down to twos in terms of how the offense gets played is recovery, right? Like you can be a little bit more aggressive on the offense if your recovery is good, because if you can quickly recover from missing a shot and whip around and get back to your end of the field like yesterday, then you're able to kind of be a little bit more aggressive. And I'm seeing a little bit of that from the demo, but because they haven't gone super aggressive with anything yet, I haven't really had a chance to see how good their recovery can really be. But right there's an example of those missed shots that I was talking about last game for the Pandas, and Zedwolf makes up for his miss and scores the first goal of the game for the demo.
So believe it or not, I think this is play of the week contention, and here's why. Zedwolf, for about 80% of that dribble, was on 0 boost, picked up a penny, like, secretively, and then used it to his advantage to get just enough momentum under the ball to flick it over the oncoming defender. It's a subtle play, but I think it's at least worth a vote, ladies and gentlemen. Play of the week, by the way, sponsored by our lovely friends at Balls Garana. Clip it and ship it, fill out the application, and a winner of Player of the Week, or Play of the Week, rather, gets a free case of Balls Garana sent to their house. And that's Leechy's hot take that I think that may actually be a candidate.
No, I actually agree with you there too, because I think that one of the biggest things in twos and to an extent ones, because at the end of the day, twos is just extended ones, is that idea of boost management, leaving your opponents trying to guess how much boost do I actually have, and that having a massive factor on how you play the game. Like you were saying, that little bit of boost meaning everything. And speaking of 0 boost, Hobo using all of his boost there to score that one.
Unfortunate touch by Kane Even. You saw what he was going for, knocking it back out. It just caught the wrong side of the front of the car, if that makes sense, and went up instead of out. Demo perfectly positioned to take advantage. We just crossed the halfway mark, and Demo have a slim 1-goal lead. Could they make it 2? This looks dangerous. Hobo's up. He will make it a 2-goal lead. Excellently done.
Fantastic carry here from Hobo. You get a nice little touch from Zedwolf to set him up, and that's just a great follow by Hobo. Those are the 1-2 passing plays I was talking about that they needed to set up. That was textbook Leechy.
Like cushions it with the wheels as well for what a lot of people call the change up. It's the switch in velocity with the ball. And you could see the reason both defenders flew past it is because they were expecting a much higher ball speed, but that tiny little caress with the wheels slowed it down and completely threw off their trajectories. It's a beautiful thing. 3-1 for the demo, and Oddfellow, from the Pandas looking significantly stronger on paper, we're about just under 2 minutes left in game 2, and the demo are looking at a second game win now.
It's the demo showed up and are playing as a team, and I keep saying this. It seems like every team that shows up in a matchup for stream that looks better on paper just kind of,
oh my god,
what did Kane even just do?
Oh my god.
And then he went for boost. Oh my, score the ball. A 0 boost Oh my goodness, the Pandas. What just happened, Leechy?
That is unfortunate. That play absolutely deserved a goal. Peachy and Kane even will be kicking themselves that they weren't able to bring it back within one. There's still time left, but man, that would have been so much sweeter if they were able to make that one count. Kane even putting it vaguely, vaguely on target. And Zedwolf is the one who put it precisely on target.
Oh my goodness, Zedwolf. I'm leaving it alone this time, buddy. But oh my goodness, what a way for the Pandas to get back a goal that they should have scored earlier. But 60 seconds left on the clock here, Leechy, and it's looking interesting here for the Pandas. They're getting more lucky than anything else, in my opinion, right now.
That don't feel too good.
No,
that's all I got for that one.
No,
and even 2v1 situation. Whoa! What a save from Hobo Hoppy off of the underside of the crossbar. Danger's not over yet, though. Peachy with the slow carry gets his pocket picked mid-air. Hobo will follow this down to the right side, and that pressure for the Pandas evaporates, but only temporarily. They're able to build from the back again. Can't even beats one. Hobo needs to be very careful. Puts it right into the path of Peachy. He is never going to miss that one. We have a tie ball game.
Yeah, and this is just an unfortunate touch from Hobo here. I think he wanted a little bit more power on that, but unfortunately was not able to get it. And Peachy just reading it the entire time. 30 seconds left, all square at 3. And all of a sudden, the Pandas have battled back here from what was looking like a pretty dominant performance from the Demolition. Hobo going for the ceiling, going to play this one towards the sidewall. Kane even reading that one early. Peachy was trying to make something happen. Kane even losing that 50, but again, that's going to be a quick turnaround for the Pandas to get back on here on defense.
Good stall there by Kane even. I was silently questioning the decision to turn there, but it was a strong challenge. It bought just enough time for Peachy to get back. Could be headed to OT. We are indeed overtime here on Neo Tokyo. I am here for close series, and that's exactly what we have so far.
Oh, absolutely. Like you don't get any closer than over.
Just move on. Game 2. That's done. APM balls. What else can we say to distract from?
The titanium white goal explosion. Look at that, everybody.
Wow.
Yeah, no, just great follow up there from Hobo. It's that same offensive pressure that the Demo had all game. You know, like they just seemed like they were playing faster. You know, and just like that, you know, the Demolition up 2-0 in the series.
I apologize for cutting over you. 7 shots for Kane even, and was only able to make one of them count. And I dare say that seemed to be almost entirely off of the defensive efforts from Hobo Hoppy. 5 saves to his name alone. Absolutely ridiculous on defense. 3 shots apiece for everyone else on the pitch. Kane even was firing them towards goal time and time again, and it still wasn't enough. The Demo are doing a very good job on defense. I will say it's a little bit ropey because they still did allow 3 goals, but as long as you outscore your opponents, you win. And I guess it took them to overtime to get it done. It was a pseudo kickoff goal, but a win is a win, and they're 2-0 up.
Well, and the thing for me, we didn't really talk about it much before the start of the series. We talked a lot about how Zedwolf went 5-0 in his previous game. Hobo Hoppy was 5-5 coming into this series, and I hadn't really said anything, but like he was kind of like my watch out like player that I want to keep an eye on because he's the only one without a individual winning record coming into this, and so it was really going to, in my opinion, come down to his personal performance, and he has showed up more than anybody else on the pitch so far in these first 2 games.
The Demo, I think whoever was in charge of, choosing this lineup, whether it was the captain or the GM or the FM, chose very wisely. Hobo and Zed are playing so very well together. Case in point, Hobo catches the defender out and just smacks this one in. It's a 1-0 lead in game 3.
Yeah, and this is the kind of pressure that the Demo have been putting on, and they're going to keep putting it on. Their speed, it's pace of play. That is the name of the game here. And right now, the Demo have it, and the Pandas haven't quite caught up yet, Leechy.
Time. That's the good thing, is that it's so very early in game 3.
Yeah.
Zedwolf retreating. Kane Even and Peachy, what can they do? The pass across field, decent 50, but Peachy can't get there in time. So now the dominance of Zedwolf can't get as spicy of a flick as he would have been looking for, but it's still in the Pandas half. Can't get this quite clear. Hobo, okay, leaving that one roll. Peachy 0 boost, but will commit to this play and picks up that corner boost in the process. Kane Even. Oh, that one's dicey. Okay, keeps it in the midfield. Yet again, me just kind of, I questioned the decision to turn there. It wound up working, but I think that was a little bit riskier than the first time that I didn't have faith. But maybe that's a lesson that I need to have faith a little bit more frequently.
Well, it's one of those things that we were talking about, right? Like weighing the risk versus the reward. Like you have to sit there when you make those challenges and twos and think, okay, what's the worst thing that could possibly happen if I make this challenge? Where's my teammate at? Where's this at? Where's this ball have the most likelihood to go? That's a lot of calculations for a CL player to make, but a lot of times these guys do have the ability to make that as long as they at least know where their teammate's at. As Kane even tries to fire one towards the backboard there, but quickly turned away by Zedwolf. Whoa, speaking of Zedwolf, he's going to beat the defender on that one and slide that one in. It's going to be 2-0 in favor of the demo.
That was an all-or-nothing play. Peachy, it looked like maybe the ramp on the sidewall ate his jump, couldn't get off of the wall, and it quite simply left it completely wide open for the demo to knock that one home. And thank goodness the demo are not in the business of missing open nets, because we'd have a very different scoreline if that were the case. Hobo Hoppy doing his best Viglio impression, 0 boost, but not able to get a double tap going there. Ooh, clearing the way, or not quite, more just kind of taking the pressure out of the play there. Kane Even a shot on target, but this one knocked away by Zedwolf.
You know, every day I sit down to cast and I think that I'm going to have my own Viglio moment. As speaking of, what a save from Hobo as I'm trying to make a joke and just make some banter. Fine, just Leechy cast. I give up.
Okay, shot on target, they miss. Okay, you go.
Shot on target, they miss. Ooh, guy blew guy up.
I did say that. That was stupid. It's inherently not on target if they missed, didn't they?
I know. Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. Oh, speaking of, Hobo firing it up. There's another goal for the demo that's going to be 3-0 with half the game left to go. And again, it's Hobo Hoppy scoring all of these. One thing that I do want to bring up, I got a little bit of info from a source through Discord. So Hobo is the captain for this CL demo squad. He kind of pieced all this together. This is his brainchild, and it is working out beautifully, especially with Zed, I believe, being a rookie, at least for the demo this season. So Hobo having stepped up from AL, bringing Zed in as a new player for the demo. There's a lot of good things happening with the demo right now, and this is exactly the kind of series that they need, despite how the rest of their season's gone.
I want to flip things to the other side and just talk about the Pandas, because yes, the demo have been really good at taking advantage of mistakes, but on the other side of the fence, the Pandas, these are the mistakes that are handing the demo these breakaway opportunities. I think, I mean, it's so hard because there are so many different variables that could come into it, but the bottom line is I think communication in some way needs to improve. Kane Even with the dribble. We'll talk about that in a second. Maybe 2 play of the week potentials in a single series. Look at this.
This is fantastic ground control and just completely decimating both defenders, and then at the end of it, putting himself in a position to win the 50 to send it into the goal anyway. Fantastic ground play from Kane Even there.
The ball never touched the ground. Even when it left his hood and he needed to 50 it, the ball was in the air or on his car at all times. If only that was a 0-second moment and was like a clutch to take us to overtime. That would have been absolutely terrifying. But yeah.
My roommates probably would have thrown me through a window.
I would have forgiven you. It's okay.
Forgive me? Okay.
Back to the Pandas for a second. Communication needs to improve, because it's been all of these overcommits on offense that are excusable in the game of threes, because yet again, sound like a broken record, but you've got people back, and here is another one. Will Zedwolf, okay, they may get away lucky with this one. They will not. Case in point, 2 players up. I don't know if that was a double commit or something, but the end result was both Pandas players were against the demo back wall, and it left it wide open for Zedwolf to just kind of walk it in. That's 4-1. Honestly, I don't see a way back for the Pandas in this game. And if things don't improve, I think that's going to carry through to the rest of the series here. I don't think that the demo are actually I'll reframe that. I don't think that the Pandas are like at a skill deficit enough to not win a single game. I think they deserve to win at least one, but I'm not seeing the skill that would be needed to win at least one game from this game 3 performance.
Yeah, they look like they're like not quite sure where each other are at all times. And the only thing that I can kind of think of, like as a mid to high AL player and having like been in and around games with guys of this level, as Zedwolf throws another one down, that's going to be a hat trick for Zedwolf with 5-1 victory or a 5-1 lead here for the Demolition. There gets to be a certain point in the game where communication just breaks down. I don't know if that's consistent across all levels or if it's mostly in AL and CL, but I noticed it a lot more in AL and CL where you just kind of like, it's not quite tilt, but it's basically tilt, where like you just kind of like, okay, whatever. You both kind of lose where you are and just kind of stop talking to each other. And I feel like that might be happening a little bit with the Pandas. I think if I'm the Pandas, the best thing they can do here is take this full 60 seconds at the scoreboard and just breathe and try and reset and try and get these last 2 games, because they may not have won the series here with the demo taking the series with the 3rd victory here, but the Pandas still have time to get those 2 game wins, and every game win matters when it comes to the playoffs.
Yes, yeah, I was about to touch on that. In fact, the reason, ladies and gentlemen, in case you're new to MLE, we don't play best of series during league play. We play 5-game series. We play all 5 regardless, because the number one stat that is looked at when it comes to playoff qualification is the amount of games won. So we keep everything nice and even. And even in situations where this one looked pretty one-sided in favor of the demo, let's say they take game 4, the Pandas still have 1 game to pull some kind of a positive result out of this. And there people who have heard me cast MLE before know this. I've touched on this point time and time again. There have been multiple instances throughout the history of MLE where teams have missed out on playoff qualification 1 match. And these kind of scenarios where the Pandas are probably feeling relatively hurt right now, you need to do everything possible to pick yourself back up off of the ground, because come the end of the season, we're only on match 4 out of 10. Come the end of the season, series like this could be the series that makes the difference between playoff qualification and having to wait till next season.
Yeah, for those of you that can do quick math, there are still 30 games individually left to be played over the course of the next 6 weeks, matches, whatever you want to call it, as Kane even tries to put a shot on here off the backboard, but turned away by Hobo. So there's still plenty of time here. And the Pandas, like we were saying, they have to throw off the fact that they've lost the last 3 in a row. They have to focus on each game one at a time here. And so far, you know, it's only been the first 16 seconds. I'm liking what I'm seeing so far, but, you know, the demo have been good enough to a pretty hot start, as Hobo got a nice little flick there.
Saucy little turbo flick. Unfortunately, it didn't develop into anything beyond that. But so touching on your point that you were talking about the tilt that comes in, 100% agree. I've been through it. I'm sure many Rocket League players who have played with teammates before have been through it as well. Unfortunate miss by the Pandas there. That was an excellent opportunity to go in, and they will get punished for it. Peachy taking his sweet time, rotating way far to the outside of the arena there, and the demo sneak one in.
For those of you who are new at Rocket League or may not know, that is an example of why you should go for the little tiny boost pads instead of always trying to go for the big 100 boost. Because if he goes for the small pads there or takes a more inside route on the rotation, he's there all day and is able to make that save. Simply because he went for that 100 boost, that's what cost him that time. So it's an unfortunate mistake, but it looks like he might be making up for it here. What a cut from Peachy, and then scoring it immediately.
I'm going to call this a Leechy challenge, because I sucked at that when I started playing Rocket League. Just full bore, Tarzan yell dive into a challenge, which your opponent can see coming from a mile away. And Pandas rightfully punished the demo for that. So, hey, tie game, only 60 seconds gone.
I am also guilty of the monkey with the capital E challenge myself, as geez, Leechy. Zedwolf, I thought had a chance there, but unfortunately did not have enough boost to make an offensive push go. Hobo opting to leave that one for Zed Wolf. It's going to be played off the backboard. That's going to be Kane even going up early. Hobo is there, but Peachy has a chance to turn around. Not quite able to put that one on target, but still able to keep the offense going. Zed Wolf with 0 has to make it work. Between him and Hobo, they're able to put it off the top crossbar. Oh my goodness, Leechy. The Pandas are trying to put it in, but oh my goodness, the demo, as they're demoing there, just aren't quite giving things up yet. But Kane even now has a shot on, able to collect that one. That's going to be a 2-1 lead there for the Pandas.
I'm glad they made this one work, because that little kind of pace of play for the past like 15-20 seconds where they kept the pressure on the demo actually looked like they were up against the ropes a little bit. You saw a double commit as the ball popped up over the crossbar. It wound up being harmless, but it's a sign that they're getting a little bit nervous. Could it be 3? No, Kane even can't make the challenge work, but a potential sign of shifting tides here for the Pandas. I'd like to see them continue the momentum for the next 3 minutes and change here, but obviously easier said than done, especially going up a demo team that has surged so early on in the series.
I mean, we were talking about it before the start of this game, that this was basically the start the Pandas needed to have, as both demo players just go opposite directions off the backboard, and leave it wide open for Peachy to bury that one in the back of the net.
Is the crossboard attached to the back bar?
Yes, and in fact, yeah. I was going to try and say something else witty, but my brain's mush right now. Leave me alone, Leechy.
It's a good thing you're not doing 3 in a row tonight.
Anyways, as we're moving on into the rest of this game, half the game left to play, and it's a 2-goal advantage here for the Pandas. It's this pace of play. This is exactly what the Pandas needed to do. It's like we were talking about. Take everything with a grain of salt, but Hobo says, screw your grain of salt. Here's a whole rock, and just drops it into the back of the net.
Hit the rock. Knock down the rock. Knock it to the left. Wow. Okay. Honestly, serious faces for a second. Spicy change of direction on that one. You could see the Pandas defender was committed to one trajectory, and that is the exact time to pull off a shot like that. Shoot it across the face of momentum, and you get goals like that. So well done. Demo are back within 1. At this point, I feel like we're really going to see what both of these teams are made of, because the Pandas saw a pretty confident lead evaporate into just a single goal lead. And the demo, I don't know. I mean, what could we be about to see? A failed musty flip reset there, unfortunate, but would have looked spicy for a second. That one's in the corner and awkwardly cleared away.
Yeah, it definitely looked like that could have been a little bit of Dijon mustard on that flick, but wasn't quite able to get that one. But Kane even slots that one in, lead back to 2 for the Pandas.
Off that right side. Deadwolf, awkward. You see him just for a split second having to literally rotate in front of goal, just kind of spinning in a circle because he didn't have himself aligned properly.
Yep.
No big deal. You still got about a minute and a half and change to make this one back. Oh, this one could be dangerous. Hobo missing that one, going for the air dribble bump and not finding the contact on that one either. So all of the pressure just kind of dies. Kane even can't get it past Hobo. Peachy, left side. Hobo knocks it mid. That would have been an excellent pass if Zed was in position. No big deal. We've seen them play super well together before in this series. I'm sure they'll be able to turn it back on relatively soon.
Yeah, and it honestly just looks like Demo are struggling with boost management just a little bit, because Zed Wolf had 6 boosts when they came back from that. I'm not sure if he was going for boost and then saw the center and tried to come back in for it and just wasn't able to collect any, but that looks like that's kind of the biggest issue they're dealing with. What a flick there from Kane Even, as he just throws that one into the back of the net, and that's going to be a hat trick for Kane Even here in game 4. I can do math.
You got it. You got it. Caster math. It's okay. Happens to the best of us. Kane Even, really good control. I mean, that was a perfectly timed flick. That's exactly when you want to execute it. Not much else to say. Just over 60 seconds left, and Pandas very much look like they're in the driver's seat to pull as positive of a situation out of this series loss as you could possibly have. Oh, broken rule 1. All right. Who jumped away? I didn't even catch it, but whoever loses this match deserves it.
I don't know. I've given up on Rule 1. I saw so many Rule 1s broken at Worlds that
get me out of this VC.
There's no point. No, it's like I still believe in Rule 1. I still do it myself. It's just I've seen so many that I've given up on watching other people do it. It's this. I don't know, people, there's like an unwritten rule, like it's like rule 1 subsection A, page 23. If it's in a competitive setting, rule 1 does not apply. So it's I don't know.
That's fair. It's mostly for the content. I never actually endorse doing rule 1 in competitive situations, so it is what it is. 3 goals up, and Deadwolf and Hobo Hoppy are 3 goals down. Unless they change anything right here, they will not. Game 4 goes the way of the Pandas, and that is an excellent time to start building momentum. It's unfortunate that it took until Game 4 for this to happen, but I guess better late than never.
Yeah, no, it's like we were saying, like they may have lost the series, but they still have a chance to get some playoff points here, right? And given the fact that they came into this series with an 11-4 record on the season, like they'll still end up being positive here, regardless of how this ends up. But they need to keep doing that. What'd you say they were at before we started? Like 5th in the conference or something?
Pandas were 5th, Demo were 10th.
Yeah, so being 5th in the conference, like these 2 wins are definitely going to be critical for them regardless, whether it keeps them around in 5th or potentially gives them a chance to like sneak into a playoff spot later in the season if they lose more games. Every single game counts. So great job from them. That was a game that was really important for them, in my opinion. Because the fact that they were still able to recover after losing 3 in a row and ultimately losing the series and still come back and win that tells me a lot about where they stand in terms of how they want to play the game. And so I do think that they still are going to have a ton of momentum rolling into Game 5 here.
I will say an interesting thing to point out, every player on the field that match getting over 600 points, except for Zedwolf, who barely had 250. So maybe that was a little bit of a clue into what happened for the Demo, is just all of a sudden the participation, both offensively and defensively, for one of the players, which is half of your team in a twos game, obviously, just completely went out the window. So I don't know, really good way to turn things around for the Pandas. For the Demo, bit of a worrying sign. I don't know what I expect. I don't know if I expect the Pandas to continue it into Game 5 or the Demo to kind of pull their heads out of the sand and find that form that they had throughout the whole first half of the series. Oh, could happen there. Wow, Kate Even, great way to start Game 5. Goal number 1.
Yeah, fantastic shot here from Kate Even. Great speed to go up early and just get it right over the top of Hobo. But honestly, also fantastic car control there to hit it in exactly the right spot so that he doesn't end up putting it off the crossbar or something. So just great accuracy, great speed, all around, fabulous play there from Kane Even. One other thing that I want to point out, it's interesting as I'm looking at the stat sheet, Hobo actually has a higher average score per game than Zedwolf, even though Zedwolf has gone 5-0 and Hobo's gone 5-5. So we may have been looking at the wrong player to be the come up player for the Demo in this series.
Yeah. Time will tell. 4 minutes left in Game 5. Ichi, oh, did you see that attempt on the Demo? Didn't quite work out, but good thing to do. Demo is definitely, in my opinion, more powerful in the twos game than threes game because, yet again, as we were talking about the basic math, you're removing half of the entire team's ability to play the ball. Equally on the other side of the fence, it's also that much riskier for you because half of your own team is committed to being out of rotation to find that aggressive play. So you've got to make it work.
And that's exactly what I was going to say is risk. Like, it definitely is a good thing to go for, but it has to be strategic. You can't just go for it willy-nilly like you're a ranked teammate and just saying, oh, hello? Kate Even with the back pass to Peachy in front of the net. What a shot, Leechy.
He just kind of knew. Okay, all right. It probably assumed that was going to be a shot, but for the sake of argument, let's say that he knew exactly where his teammate was. That was saucy. 2-0 for the Pandas, and the Demo find themselves in a very similar situation to Game 4. They got to pick themselves up a little bit.
Yeah, and they definitely, we've seen it. We saw it in the first 3 games of the series. They have the ability to do it. Hobo going to the backboard, unfortunately, not getting the right angle there and squishing it off to the right. Zedwolf making Peachy pay for sending that out towards the middle. Hobo to the air again, looking for the backboard, not quite able to get that one. And there's Zedwolf again playing really, really far back. Luckily there, Kate even putting his follow-on shot off. And so I feel like the offensive rotations for the demo have gotten really, really wide in the last 2 games.
And like, is that a good thing or a bad thing? But per the demo results, you'd probably want to say bad thing, but I feel like it can work if you have the speed to make up for the width of the rotations. And I think that may be the key ingredient that's missing for the demo. Wow! Goal number 3 for Peachy. Get up as high as he likes. Smack that one straight down.
Yeah, I was about to say, speaking of speed, here comes Peachy just absolutely going up as soon as possible. Fabulous placement, too, right onto the left side, out of reach of both defenders. So just fantastic offensive play there from Peachy, and the defense from the demo not looking quite as strong as it did in the first 3 games, as Peachy again with the dribble.
Just pinning it against... Oh, God. What's it called? Crossbar? Backboard. Crossbar.
Crossbar.
I almost did it.
Crossboard.
Crossboard or backbar. Pinning it against that piece of the goal that you can't score on.
The woodwork.
Sneaking it in. Yes, exactly. The woodwork. The metalwork.
The fourth man, as it were.
What's the goal made out of in Rocket League? Because I feel like it's not wood or metal.
It's polyurethane. It's a form of polyurethane PVC.
Oh, my God.
Oh my!
Oh, what a
save from Zedwolf as I'm making up materials.
Oh, bouncing tantalizingly on the goal line. It was more than 50% in and still cleared away by the demo. Unfortunately, it's not going to do much to save their fate here in Game 5 because they still have a 4-goal deficit to overcome and less than 90 seconds to do it. Oh, okay. That's one way to get started. Hobo Hoppy gets this one done. This will be a monumental comeback, but I do still favor the Pandas right now.
Yeah, given how the rest of this game has gone, unless for the next 90 seconds, the demo just, like, crank their speed and challenges and pace of play up to 11 from, like, the 7 that they've been at for the last 2 games. I think this is pretty well in the favor of the Pandas. But, like I said, we saw the demo dominate pretty substantially in the first 3 games. Hobo again going for that backboard, but seems like Peachy's kind of keyed in on it at this point.
Dude, I want to see somebody hit it so bad. I was like, nothing fills me with joy more than seeing League CL and below smack double taps like they're in their sleep or something like that. Oh, great demo from Zedwolf. Just to kind of, like I said, take half of the opposing team out, but took too long to capitalize. So Kane even, dribbling past one, but locked side by side with Hobo. That something that people need to exploit a little bit more because it actually does ruin your car's ability to turn properly. And it used strategically, it can actually be quite beneficial.
Yeah, I equate it. It's like the same kind of thing as using what's the word I'm looking for? Like a box out or a lockout in basketball.
Yeah.
Or like a screen or something. It's that same kind of thing, and so you have to use it kind of like that. It's like you can actually box the defender out of making a save without having to actually bump or demo him by just driving alongside him and staying there, because it takes a lot to actually get your car detached from the other car. But as we tick down to the last 5 seconds, Leechy, it does look like the Pandas are going to be able to hold on here and maintain this 4-1 lead and will take Game 5, and the final score of the series will be 3-2 in favor of the demo.
And that, ladies and gentlemen, is exactly why we play all 5 games. Look at that. Yeah, Pandas lost the series. They still pulled 2 games out of it. So obviously it's way too early to call here, but look later in the season towards matches 9 and 10. Look at where the Pandas are in their playoff qualification and do your best. Remember back to this series that just happened right here and see if maybe if they had gotten swept, if that would have made a difference. I'm willing to bet this early on that it probably will.
Yeah, 100%, especially with them already being in 5th in their conference and what, the top 6 in the conference make playoffs or something like that.
Top 7.
Top 7.
No, I'm sorry. It is top 7. It's top 7 because the top 4 objectively are the top division. And then P5, 6, and 7 are basically 5, 6, and 7 in the entire conference. So 1 through 7 make it in. Sorry, that was a way too lengthy explanation. I apologize. Please continue.
Either way, them being in 5th and the top 7 making it into playoffs, like they've got those 2 spots of wiggle room. These 2 wins are 100% going to have an impact on whether or not the Pandas stay within that top 7. It could potentially be that these 2 games are what gives them enough to stay within the top 7. Like the difference between them and whoever's in 8th could be those 2 wins. But if it had been just a 3-0 sweep in favor of the Demo, never would have happened, and the Pandas would have been 2 games less.
Yes. So GG to both of them. An excellent start, an excellent series to put in the first half of the season for the Demo. Looked at them early on, and we said that they looked weaker on paper. I am so happy to be proven wrong, because that means we get super entertaining Rocket League like we just saw there.
Yeah, exactly. And Leechy, I'll be honest, it's been a long time since I've been in the booth with you. That was so much fun. Love it. Needs to happen a lot more often, and couldn't have asked for a better series to cast over with you, bud.
100%. Ladies and gentlemen, we still have two matches left. We are on a marathon this weekend, 5 matches every single night. That was match number 3. We have a Master League series coming up for you right after this break, so please stick around. You are not going to want to miss it.